era.
Yeah.
You worked with Anton Dolin. Did you ever partner Alicia Markova?
No, but I was Hilarion in Giselle.
To their Albrecht and Giselle.
Yeah, they came to San Francisco as a guest, and we did a performance of Giselle.
Right, and you were Hilarion.
Yes.
Oh.
Which I enjoyed. By the way, Anton Dolan said, I think you should go to New York. But I'd already been there 8 years, and I thought maybe it was a good idea. So I came to New York, dancing with Krasovska in Sleeping Beauty and Stroganova in Swan Lake, both staged by Dukadovsky.
Wow. You have, I mean, you worked really with the top tier of the ballet world.
Yeah.
And yet, Mr. Nelson, there was a reunion recently, a couple of years ago.
Yes.
With the former dancers, male dancers of the Ballet Russe de Monte Carlo. Were you invited to that function?
Yeah, but I didn't go. It was in New Orleans.
Oh, in New Orleans.
And by the way, I didn't care for Franklin.
Frederick Franklin.
No, when we went to San Francisco, he put me as the Burgermeister in Coppelia, which was one of my best roles as Franz.
Oh.
And I never forgave him for that.
Oh. Well, obviously there was a certain envy and jealousy going on there.
I think so.
There's no doubt.
But Denham signed me. He saw me in Yazinski's class, and because Yazinski invited him to come and see me, and he said, come to my office tomorrow morning and I will sign a contract. But Franklin was taking over the company at that time because Denham was in poor health.
I see.
So when we started, he didn't even put my name in the programs.
Wow.
So I have no proof that I even danced with the Ballet Russe.
But but there is proof that you danced with the Ballet Russe.
Oh, sure.
So your relationship with Frederick Franklin was at best icy and professional.
Yes.
There was no friendship. There was no rapport with Mr. Franklin.
Not at all. No.
Now, how long did your career last, Mr. Nelson?
Oh, wow. I danced Swan Lake at Columbia University in the late 60s.
Wow.
So I must have been 50 years old at the time.
Right.
But I left out the male variation. I didn't want to humiliate myself.
Mr. Nelson, were you a good partner?
I think yes, because all the ballerinas liked it. I never missed a pirouette or a lift, ever.
So your support of the ballerina was right on.
Oh, absolutely.
Also, Mr. Nelson, it stands to show that you were also a very handsome prince.
Thank you.
And they of course, realized this also.
Yeah.
And you showed them off very well.
Oh, cool. Of course.
Here's Mr. Nelson. Mr. Nelson, what ballet is this? Do you recognize it?
That was a picture for, that was Lois Treadwell. She was a beautiful dancer. We did Coppelia together.
So this was Coppelia, and this was Coppelia. And this, you look like a very handsome cowboy there with the great Mia Slavenska.
Right.
Considered the most beautiful woman in ballet at that time.
Of course.
A very handsome cowboy there. And this looks like Les Sylphides, the poet in Les Sylphides. Mr. Nelson, is this Sono Osato?
No, that's Aiko Otaki. she came here and she was looking for a partner to partner her in Giselle in Tokyo.
I see.
My agent asked too much money.
I see.
I would have gone anyway.
To Japan.
Yes.
To dance Albrecht. Here is Mr. Nelson in a chete from Swan Lake in rehearsal.
Yes. That's
Great. That's great elevation, Mr. Nelson.
Thank you.
I mean, that's quite a. I mean, that is a Nijinskian leap.
Well, by the way, that reminds me. When I was in Hollywood studying with Kozlov, he went on vacation, and George Zorich and I went to Nijinskas to take class.
Oh, I see.
Well, when the men were going to dance and do a jumping combination, I decided to do my best. Well, I went up higher than the other guys, and her cigarette holder went flying. And she tried to explain it, and her husband explained for me. She said she saw her brother.
Oh.
I said, wow, what a wonderful compliment.
That is the ultimate compliment.
I think so.
I mean, to be compared and to even be mentioned in the same breath as the great Václav Nijinsky.
Yeah.
I mean, that's quite a compliment, Mr. Nelson, and a credit to your art.
Absolutely.
Did you dance Le Spectre de la Rose?
No, but I rehearsed other people for it.
I see.
Yeah.
That's a very great ballet that would have suited you because you had the great batterie.
I think it would have worked well.
I think so too. Now, who your rivals at that time were? Eglevsky and Zorich?
I don't know if they were considered rivals.
That was the wrong word. Your contemporaries.
Yes. There were so many good males around, but I felt I held my own with them.
Mr. Nelson, I want to move forward now to, you ended your career in the early 60s?
Well, I was teaching. I had a school.
So you became a teacher after you retired from the dancing?
Yes.
And your friend Pat Meha tells me, she told me a lot about your teaching. And from what I heard from Pat, the training was quite extraordinary. And you had a lot of dancers that came to you for polish, for instruction, for advice. Tell me a little bit about your class, about your method and how you approached a class.
Okay. My background is Russian training, and Bournonville. Diaghilev Company, when it came to San Francisco, a lot of the dancers left the company, like Kozlov, Bodina, Adolf Bohm, Nijinska. They left the company and tried to open up a school of their own. Well, Kozlov and Bodina opened up a school in San Francisco, and later went to LA. But that's where I got my background, because one of my teachers, Laviva Del Curo, was a student of Kozlov and Bodina, and I was getting that Russian training from her, and then eventually I went to Hollywood and studied with Kozlov and Bodina there.
What do you think was the key to your training, to your teaching? What do you think it was the key?
Well, now when I look back, it was Russian training and Bournonville. So I feel I was lucky to get both.
Right. So you continued the academia of the Russian school. Now, so was your bar Russian?
Yes.
So you did a lot of rond de jambe en l'air and rond de jambe à terre, and then was your center